Morning, fellow dirt roaders. This is Rick with Dirt Road Bushcraft. Today, I'm here in my home studio because the weather outside just isn't very good. The forecast is called for gale force winds and heavy rain, and Darwin said, don't go out and be a statistic. So I decided what I was going to do is to put together a series of videos that shows my evolution as being able to get out into the woods, do what I'm going to do, and then navigate my way back to my vehicle. So I'm going to start from the beginning. And the beginning for me going out into the woods was that as a young bow hunter. And I would go out to the woods and I would park my rig at the end of a dirt road, and then I would get out. I would get a compass pointed in the direction I wanted to go, and then I would rotate the bezel around and put the north arrow inside the doghouse. And then I would go out into the woods. Then I would do a reverse course to come back. Along the way, I would set flagging tape, so I would do a trail blaze. It would give me a visual as well as my using my compass. And so it worked for me for a while. And then what happened one day was I was out, and when I was returning, I missed my vehicle and I missed the end of the road, and I started bailing off down into this canyon and realized that something's not right here. So I backtracked my way out. I found my blaze line from my tape, and I followed that back to my rig. And so the lesson I learned on that day was don't park at the end of a dirt road. So I started parking 100, 200, 300 yards away. The other reason why I quit parking at the end of dirt roads is that I would find fire pits at the end of the dirt roads, and there would be nails and screws and stuff in there, and having a flat tire after you've come back from a day of hunting is not a nice thing to have happen to you. Trust me, I know. So anyways, what I then began to do, like I said, was to park away from the end of the dirt road. And so this became what I called a handrail or a guardrail that dirt road did. It was a barrier. It says that, when I'm coming back, I know I've got this big buffer that I can hit this dirt road on. Then what's happened a couple of times was that upon returning back, I didn't go like a straight line right back to my vehicle. I missed it to one side or the other, and my vehicle was out of vision. I couldn't see it. So when I got on the dirt road, I didn't know if I had to make a right or a left to get back to my vehicle. So what I started doing after that was to intentionally miss to one side or the other, so that when I returned and hit that dirt road or guardrail, then I knew that, okay, I have to turn right, and then I'll go, take me back to my vehicle. So that's worked out well for me as can be. And so anyways, the basic was in the beginning was compass, tape, not parking at the end of the dirt road, and not aiming straight back. As things evolved, I started getting maps for the units that I was hunting in, and they gave me actually more guardrails that I could use, because then I can build boxes that I can hunt in. So I have the dirt road I drove up on, and then that dirt road may tee off on another dirt road. So there's another guardrail. There may be a creek at the bottom. There's another guardrail, and then maybe another drainage or something on the other side. So now I've created this box. So now I can get into this box and I can move all around. I didn't have to have flagging tape. I always took my compass, but I always did pocket my flagging tape. I would take it with me regardless. And so this freed me up to do more wandering around in the woods by boxing myself in with guardrails. And I'm here, so obviously I didn't get lost and have to spend too many nights out in the woods unexpectedly. And so as time went on, handheld GPSs started coming out. And so my very first GPS was a Magellan. It had a rotating antenna on the side of it. And this Magellan, it would pick up only if you were out in the open someplace. You had to be on top of a hill. If there were tall trees around you, it wouldn't pick up. If you were in a canyon, it wouldn't pick up. And so when I would drive and park someplace, I would make sure I would park where I can get a GPS reading. So I would get out of my vehicle, get a GPS reading, and mark that waypoint. Then I would also get my compass, set in the direction, and take my flagging tape, and I'd head off out into the woods. And it worked well when the GPS could get me a lock. So one time we did a hunt with a buddy of mine, and we did got our GPS lock, set compass. We went down, we bailed out, went down this canyon and hunted all around, and then it was time to come back. I got out into a clearing, got a GPS lock, and was able to get a compass direction back to my vehicle. So we set our compasses, and we started heading back towards my vehicle. And it became a hike through hell. We had to go up very steep hill. It was almost a vertical cliff. And I was getting my bow, tossing up in front of me, grabbing roots and trees and stuff like that, and pulling myself up. We got up to the top of this ridge, and sweat's just pouring off of me. Steam is coming up, and black flies are swarming all around. It was miserable. And luckily, where we came up at, my vehicle was maybe, a couple 100 feet away, and so we were able to get over the vehicle there. And so that taught me to use a topographic map. And so the next generation of GPSs that came out was an Eagle Explorer. And I took a half-day class on using this Eagle Explorer, and the instructor showed us how to use it with a topographic map and with a compass. And so that opened the door for me to expand on my land navigation. And to this day, I still use primarily a lot of what I learned in that class, plus I've added other things to it as well. And so what I'm planning on doing with this video series is to go through this evolution and to start with basically 101 and try to pass on my knowledge and my experience to those who are wanting to get out in the woods and get back to their vehicles. It's can't guarantee you'll get back to your vehicle, but it's worked for me.